What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range again, as you can see behind me, on a blistering hot summer day. Temperature in the 90s out here. There ain't a lick of wind blowing, so it is sure enough like an oven out here. But I've got my shade up to help me keep cool to power through this last test of the day, and it should be a very interesting 4570 test. So the jelly contraption's out here keeping cool under the shade with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now I have done a couple of tests and we got kind of some stragglers going every which way. But I've got you flipped around where I've got plenty of clear space up here, plenty of clear space over here, so I should be able to thread the needle with these little stragglers good enough to get this one done. Of course, as always, I've got the heavy clothing barrier with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we ending out today with is something with some serious thump to it. So we got a couple of different 4570 government rounds here. First one we got is this Winchester JHP 300 grain. As you can see there, brass cartridge, that big old 4570. It's got that kind of like a semi-jacketed, if you ask me there. So nothing real fancy, but a 4570 moving on. Don't have to be that fancy. As far as the ballistics on the box here, they're saying 1880 muzzle. Now, I didn't look at any kind of test barrel, so I'm not sure what kind of length that is. Definitely way longer than what we're using here today. And then for the other one, we've got this Hornady Lever Evolution 4570. This right here is some sure enough hot stuff. This and the Defiant munitions close to this same weight are probably the spiciest two 4570s that I've run so far. So this one's got their 325 grain FTX projectile, so a little bit heavier than the Winchester, but it's still moving a little bit faster. As you can see there, the muzzle velocity on this is saying 2,000 feet per second. And again, this is some very spicy stuff. As you can see there, brass case with that FTX projectile on it. Now, of course, these 4570 rounds are meant for long barrels, but as you can see here, what we've got is anything but long. I've got the Bond Arms Cyclops Derringer chambered in 4570. If y'all aren't familiar with these things, they're single round, single shot Derringers. As you can see, chambered in 4570. This one's got a 4 1/4 inch barrel, but that's actual size on the cartridge there. So really effective barrel length is only about 1.5 inches on this little thing. Now I can pretty much go on and tell you, no matter what the results out here, this stuff is not going to be worth using this little thing for self-defense, just because you've got so much blast. It's just so rowdy that whatever the performance, it would not be worth the cost. But it should be interesting to see what we get out of this thing anyway. Let me get it all set up and let's find out. All right, y'all, let's check this crazy stuff out. I'm only planning on doing a 2-round average with each one of these, just because, I mean, this stuff is ridiculously expensive and it ain't comfortable. As you can see, I'm definitely wearing a glove because this thing stings your hand big time. So I'm gonna do 2 rounds. If the spread is real crazy, like something's not really accurate, I'll run another one and see what we get. So now, if y'all not familiar with this lab radar, you're gonna get multiple velocity readings. The large number is at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got them set for 10, 15, 25, and 50. Now, the box on this one, I'm running the Winchester 300 grain first. The box on this, remember, was saying 1880, obviously out of a much longer barrel. So let's see how much we're losing out of this little guy right here. This is not a pleasant experience, y'all. I'm just telling you right now. Not at all. Not at all. Whew. Good Lord, have mercy. 982, I mean, I can barely hold on to this thing, y'all. That's crazy. That's insane. That is insane. 982, so interestingly, it didn't lose but 40 going all the way out to 50 there. So, I mean, this stuff is insane. It's really hard to get a good trigger pull with this glove on too, but I'm not taking this glove off because that stung my palm even with this glove on, y'all. This thing is nuts. I mean, it's nuts. Ain't no other way to put it. Oh, good day. 955, that's the only 2 I'm doing on that. Let's check out that average real quick. All right, so for 2 rounds, we had an average there of 968 feet per second. Extreme spread between them was 28, 19.6. That really don't matter because there's only 2 rounds. So 968, what was it? 982 and 955, so not far off right there. I don't think we're gonna get much in the gel. I think these big old heavy rounds are gonna need more than that to do what they supposed to do, but I could be wrong. Let me reset it and check out these lever evolutions. All right, let's see what these spicy monsters do. Remember, these are 25 grains heavier and 20 FPS faster, so these right here might break the 1,000 mark for us. They might break my doggone palm too, so. Whew, this thing's rowdy, y'all. This thing is just ridiculous is what it is. Let's get this one more round, or two more rounds, hopefully we get readings on them. It's really hard to get in that trigger well with this glove on. Oh my goodness gracious. 1,016, let me get one more. Good Lord, y'all. I mean, this thing, the trigger's so heavy on it too that you just can't, I mean, it's an experience. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that. Whew. All right, one more, y'all, one more. We can get one more. Ah, good day. 1,054. Let's check out the average on that one. All right, we definitely sped it up right there. Our average that time was 1,035 feet per second. Extreme spread of 38, 27.2 standard deviation. Again, 2 rounds. That's not really real reliable. 1,035 on this one. If you remember on that 300 grain Winchester, it was 968. So you're talking about, what is that, 67 feet per second faster with a 25 grain heavier projectile. That Hornady Lever Evolution 4570 is absolutely no joke, y'all. My hand is already, I mean, it probably ain't gonna show up, but it's already red. I mean, it's throbbing right now from those 4 rounds through this thing, y'all. I'm gonna tell you right now, it don't matter what kind of performance, no matter what you get out of this thing, this right here is definitely not worth carrying. But with that being said, I am actually curious to see what's gonna happen here in the gel. I expect that those type of velocities, I mean, that's half of the velocity that the box is saying. I'm thinking you're just gonna get a full pass through, but maybe these things will do some magic. Let me get it all reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's one-eyed Willie jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each of these things into the gel, starting with this 300 grain Winchester first. Again, I think this stuff is gonna give us a full pass through. I've got my towels back here just in case. So 1,000 FPS of 300 grain projectile. I mean, I don't know. It may not have the power to push it all the way through. Let's see what happens here. Good day, I hate this thing. Oh, good night. I'm pretty sure I seen the towel or something move. Let me go see what I got. All right, no surprise, sure enough, it went all the way out the other end down there. I'm not surprised by that at all. This one moving a little bit faster with the different projectile. Maybe it'll have something different, but I'm gonna run this one without the glove, as you can see, although I don't want to, but I need to put this one in a decent spot, and I'm afraid I'll jerk it down without with that glove on with this heavy trigger. So let's see what happens here, y'all. Mercy. Ah, good gracious. I mean, it went exactly where I was aiming, so I'm glad I took that glove off. Let me go see what I got. Gosh, that hurt. All right, let's check his stuff out down here, y'all. I'm here to tell you right now, that is the rowdiest tool I have in my entire collection. Nothing is even close. I cannot even, words can't describe the recoil and energy and blast off of that little thing. It's undescribable, y'all. It's really, really insane. But anyway, what we got down here is really no surprise in either case. The first one, the 300 grain Winchester, I expected absolute fail from that. It's just a really, really basic HP design. That's that track right here, comes in here, no expansion. Now it's got some nice disruption, but it's a 4570 moving through this block. So that's all that disruption is from, all the way through this first block. Now into the second block, definitely a tumble right there. Keeps on trucking all the way through this second block and straight out the end down there. And I did catch the projectile in my towels. Now the Lever Evolution's a little bit of a different story here. That extra velocity is definitely what it needed, and that that projectile design is probably a lot better. It's the one on the top here. All of that disruption you're seeing is all of that 4570. Incredibly nice disruption and energy dump. Nearly the full first block is just that big initial energy dump and disruption channel. Carries all the way through the first one into this second one. Looks like it dropped a little bit of the jacket right there. It stays completely separate from those other two tracks until this point right there, and then it crosses over that other one. By that time it had already done what it was going to do, and you can see the projectile sitting down there. It is backwards and it does have some expansion to it, and it also gave us a ton of penetration. So obviously the first one, the 300 grain Winchester, is a full 32 plus inches. This Hornady Lever Evolution is at exactly 27¼ inches. So I don't know what kind of job you would be wanting to get done with this right here, but it would do pretty much any job I can think of. And here's your closer look. The look from above is going to give you a little bit clearer of a picture, but this one right here on the top, that's the Hornady Lever Evolution, and again this is the Winchester Super X. So you can see definitely a big difference in the size of that disruption and the energy transfer there. We'll stay on the bottom here. That I suppose was a tumble from the 300, but you keep on watching it and completely out the end there. And if we come back and follow the Lever Evolution on the top, you can see it there. Crosses into that second block up underneath that track still, and then it crosses over that track and comes to rest right there. And then looking from the top gives you an even better picture of the difference in the disruption. That one right there, that's that 300 Winchester Super X. You can really tell from this angle, just a small little transfer. This one right here is the Hornady Lever Evolution. That is not tumbling. That's all normal disruption. Could be tumbling, I won't say that. It could be a tumble, but it's also just from just nasty disruption right there and energy transfer all the way through into this second block, crosses over right about here, and then there you see the projectile. All right, y'all, let's check out these projectiles. I'm gonna tell you right now, just the sheer weight of these projectiles holding them is just impressive by itself. These 4570 rounds are absolutely no joke. This one right here, of course, that's the Winchester Super X 300 grain. This one is your 325 grain Lever Evolution. Big difference right here now. That's probably in part due to the velocity difference and probably the design of the projectile. Like I say, this is just a really basic design here. This, of course, has got that fancy tip in it, the FTX projectile with the little polymer tip. So I would say that had something to do with this, and that extra velocity without a doubt had something to do with this. Now with that being said, this one right here had some pretty good performance for what it is. There is still absolutely no way I would carry this for any kind of serious defensive use. Even though, you know, this stuff is probably going to have still 700 foot-pounds, maybe a little bit over 700 foot-pounds of energy. So you're basically carrying around a really hot, spicy 10 mil, but it has the blast and recoil and everything of a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. So the return that you're getting as far as performance is definitely not worth that. But let's get some numbers on them and see what we got. This one obviously couldn't have lost anything. It started at 300 and it's at 300.6. That was the Winchester Super X. The Lever Evolution again started at 325 and that one is at 320.8. So it definitely lost some. A couple of the pedals, or one of the pedals, is actually here in the gel. And then as far as sizes on them, we'll do the old base and length on this one here. You got a base size of 470 with a length of 776. So even without expansion, that's a big old honking chunk of lead. And then your Lever Evolution here, you got 687 and a length on that of 783. So not a whole lot of expansion, but with a 4570, you don't really need a whole lot. And this right here would be plenty to take care of pretty much any kind of business at hand. And there you go, y'all, the Winchester Super X and Hornady Lever Evolution 4570 through the Bond Arms Cyclops Derringer. If nothing else, this is definitely an experience. I wouldn't call it a good experience, but it is an experience. As far as these being effective, obviously, if you put these in the right place, they're going to get some kind of work done. However, the report, the recoil, the blast from this little old Derringer, in my opinion, is not even close to worth the performance that you're getting from it. You can get this from, you know, a hot and spicy 10 mil is right there at it. 357 SIG, hot spicy 357 SIG is right there at it. 44 mag, and all of those options have way less recoil than this thing. Again, I cannot describe to y'all the recoil and just the energy that you have to deal with this little Bond Arms Cyclops. If you've run one with some of the cowboy load stuff or the trapdoor loaded stuff, the lower velocity stuff, that right there has some recoil even out of this Bond Arms Cyclops. But I'm telling you right now, stuff like this, it's on a whole nother level. It's on a whole nother level. So again, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what would have happened in this jail, because I already knew what was coming as far as the report, the recoil, the blast. There is no way I would carry this little Bond Arms Cyclops for any kind of serious personal defense use. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for this little one-eyed beast. I love this little thing just for what it is, the novelty of it, the cool factor, but it is absolutely nothing more than one of those things that you own. So when your friend or family comes over, you can say, check this thing out, look what it can do. I actually meant to show you the little glass screen protector on one of the phone cams that I use to record my chrono there. This thing blasts out so much powder, so forceful of a blast, it actually put a couple of little nicks and cracks on my glass screen protector on the phone camera that I use. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this little thing. Any of y'all out there own one of these Cyclopses? I know they've got the 50 AE and a couple of other rounds now too. I think 44 Magnum, something else, I can't remember. But do y'all own any of these Cyclopses? Do you own this particular 4570? Have you run much through it, especially some of this spicy stuff? And if you have, what do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you take a second and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload stuff. Once again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel the way y'all do. I've had a lot of fun out here today, but it is absolutely roasting, so I'm packing up and getting out of here. Tons more good stuff on the way, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.